I think what it's done, I think what it's created certainly is a better consumer experience, for sure. You know, you're in demand, you're in charge. I think the breadth of content that has been opened up, you know, I started when it was a very narrow pyramid, with very specific boundaries in the old school of television that you had to play within. You know, that's why there were always doctors, lawyers, and family shows. Like, that was your franchise that people could relate to and knew the stakes of it very quickly, and you could tap in. And some of the great shows played with the formulas, and yet, you know, even like Hill Street Blues, The Wire, mind-blowing show, cop show, you know, but was it really? I mean, that one was truly pushed the boundaries. But really, like, so streaming has opened up not only a variety of voices and concepts and backgrounds that much more people on this call could relate to and find interesting in their own particular desires, but now something where I hope to really go in the next chapter of my business is global voices. I mean, you are now seeing, even in the US, I'm sure some of you guys, I mean, watching a show that was shot in a different language was really an art house experience for my entire life. Like, if you were interested in seeing a French movie, that's where you saw it. There was no French television show that broke out like Lupin, or, you know, Spanish show like Money Heist, whatever, you know, or Fauda from Israel. Like, it just didn't exist, and nobody in the US would watch it because they were talking funny, you know? I mean, arguably up until Simon Cowell went on American Idol, people didn't even really, your average American was like, even a British, you know, British people could play professors or villains, you know, like that's what you could do. Like, if otherwise they had to use an American accent. So it's extraordinary what's happening now is these voices coming up, and you could see Parasite winning the Oscar a year ago. And this year the Oscars are a little weirder because there's been no really movies, but it's just, it's so international, and, you know, so much more diverse in general. So I think that's been the really great thing. I think the thing I mean, look, the business part of it has truly upended the legacy businesses that created it. Frankly, it's their own fault. I was a part of those systems. If you've ever studied business, there's an amazing book called The Innovator's Dilemma, written by a professor at Harvard who died last year, called Clayton Christensen, which talks about how businesses, the very thing they do that are successes are the very things that prevent them from innovating and really ultimately getting disrupted in the cycle of business. And it's almost inevitable, because when you're succeeding and everybody's saying you're doing everything amazing, by nature, why would you change that? And so that allows disruption to come in. And that's really what happened to Hollywood. But for me, somebody that dreamed of always being in Hollywood, as flawed as it was and exclusionary and clubby as it was, there was something amazing about it. And that system has really, really been upended in a way, which we could talk about the business aspects of it, but the creative part that I worry about is, while it opens up all these voices, I worry that it commoditizes everything as well, that there's such a volume of it coming at you now in a way where, will there ever be another Office that generations could discover? I mean, I grew up on a show that, I don't know if, you know, I'm sure you've all heard of, I don't know how many have seen I Love Lucy, but I Love Lucy is still an amazing show. If you actually watch it, you would all laugh and go, this is a really funny show, even though it's, you know, 60 years old at this point. I don't even know how old it is. You know, and the cast has been long dead. And the same thing for feature films. You know, will you get to appreciate the greats, or does it all just sort of come and go? We'll see.